Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show. Truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Sorry about that little glitch which happened because of the internet, but it's a very significant issue on which we are going to talk today. Now, climate activist, innovator, and educator Sonam Wangchuk, along with his 120 people from Ladakh, was detained at the Delhi borders, at the Singhu borders, by the Delhi police for violating the prohibitory orders. Now, what has happened is that these prohibitory orders are there in Delhi till 6th of October. And Wangchuk was on a Delhi Chalo Padyatra, which he aimed to conclude at Rajghat, which was supposed to be concluding on 2nd of October. And this march basically was launched to push the center into resuming discussions with the Ladakh leadership. And at the heart of their demand is a 4-point agenda. What are they? First, calling for statehood, inclusion under Constitution's 6th schedule, a dedicated public service commission with an accelerated recruitment process, and a separate Lok Sabha seat for Leh and Kargil. Now, this is what Sonam Wangchuk has been pressing for the last so many months, but the center has not paid heed. And what he tried to do was he thought that I will go on a Delhi Chalo Padyatra. I will go to Delhi. I'll hand over a memorandum to the Prime Minister, to Amit Shah, and then go to Rajghat. But he wasn't allowed to do so because he and his associates were told that the prohibitory orders in Delhi are in place. Now, there is a huge outcry over why Sonam Wangchuk has been detained, and many of his associates have been detained in different jails across Delhi. And apparently, Atishi Marlena Singh, the Chief Minister of Delhi, went to meet him, but she wasn't allowed to meet. And now there is a plea in Delhi High Court against the detention of Sonam Wangchuk, and that plea is supposed to be heard sometimes on 3rd of October. But the big question we are asking is that why has center, why has Prime Minister and Home Minister Amit Shah turned a deaf ear to the voices coming out of Leh? Is Leh not part of our country? And why is the center having such a stepmotherly treatment towards the people in Leh? We'll try and discuss all of this. Joining me now are some of the guests with us. Joining me now is Professor Shashi Shekhar Singh, who's the professor in the Political Science Department of Delhi University. Thank you, sir, so much for joining. We have former IPS officer Yashovardhan Azad with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Azad, for joining. And I'll begin the discussion with Mr. Azad because Sonam Wangchuk was detained because he was told, and his associates were told, that the prohibitory orders are in place. Now, we are given an impression that apparently these prohibitory orders are in place in Delhi permanently, it seems, because whoever comes at the borders is detained. Now, first it was the farmers, and now it is Sonam Wangchuk. How fair are these prohibitory orders, and how can you just allow people to be detained like this at the borders, like the way Sonam Wangchuk has been detained?
I think Sonam Wangchuk is one of the most outstanding individuals from Ladakh. And one of the most important things I think he has done is to bring Ladakh
I've lost your audio, Mr. Azad. I've lost your audio in between. Mr. Azad, I'm not able to hear you.
No, Hanifa.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I lost your audio in between. Yes, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Okay. What I'm saying is, for a man like Sonam Wangchuk, who's such an outstanding man, and who's actually brought Ladakh on the map of India in the sense that people got to know about Ladakh, what exactly is happening there. You know, he's talking about those 2 parliamentary constituencies, how Kargil is comprised of majority Shias, and Leh, the developments. There are so many things which have come to light. And I was chatting with Hanifa Jan, my friend, the member of parliament, independent from Ladakh, who's told me so many things about this yatra. So I thought, first, your answer. Prohibitory orders throughout in a democracy is a joke. I mean, you cannot have prohibitory orders all the time. It doesn't make any sense at all. Number two, in this particular case, they were going to Rajghat to offer their prayers. Number three, this was an absolutely a crowd comprising of intellectuals, army veterans, environmentalists, and they were led by as able as men or women like Sonam Wangchuk himself. So I think this was in the favor of the government that they should have got into a talk. They should have been extremely happy. Today, after the elections, in any case, all the parties have said that statehood will be given. If they are asking for sixth schedule, I mean, what is wrong with that? They are talking about the conservation of environment. What is wrong with that? A public service commission, absolutely fine. So in any case, and I met some of these people, they are absolutely reasonable. This was a wonderful time for the government to get into a chat with them. And I think that opportunity is unfortunately lost.
But you made a mention of the prohibitory orders, and BNS Section 163 is in place. And what the Delhi Police Commissioner has been saying that, we need to be extra careful. There are festivals, there are elections in Haryana. Now, all these reasons have been cited by the Delhi Police Commissioner. How credible are these reasons? And why should one believe really what the Police Commissioner is saying? Mr. Azad.
Neelu, to answer this, I'll go back to my favorite issue of the autonomy to the police organizations. Now, the question is, in Metropolitan Authority in London, the chief will decide on his own whether a prohibitory order is needed for a particular procession or not. If I was the police commissioner, I would say that there's no prohibitory order required for this kind of a procession. It should be allowed to go to Rajghat, and it is my decision. Unless you give it to me in writing from the government or the home minister that no, prohibitory orders, I order in the interest of the state. So let it be very clear. So in this particular case, the prohibitory orders which have been issued are wrong. And if the police commissioner would have been in charge of this, he would have certainly not issued prohibitory orders because there is no threat. And because you are unnecessarily making police confrontational with the people, which it should not be unless it is absolutely essential.
Right. Right. And coming as it does from a person like Mr. Azad, and he's saying that these prohibitory orders cannot be put in place permanently, it's not required. It goes to show that, the motives are political. I'll come to you, Professor Shashi Shekhar Singh, now. What would you say really to the attitude of the government? We thought that the government will adopt a conciliatory approach, especially after getting a mandate, what it got in 2024. But here, the police, the government continues with its confrontationist attitude, and it is in no mood to listen to the voices of the people of Leh. What would you say to a government like this recalcitrant attitude?
Okay, listen, the first thing is that you cannot change the nature of the government in a day or two. Of course, the government had, no majority in 2024 election. But if you look at the last 10 years governance and the style of functioning of the BJP government, of course, the Prime Minister Modi and the, Amit Shah, the Home Minister. So how can you say that immediately they will change their, nature and go for a democratic dialogue and conciliatory process and everything? I have serious doubt about it. I had doubt and I have doubt even today. And that is why even today, if people are asking for any peaceful protest or any procession, satyagraha, anything, and they are not allowed. They are not allowed, So government is not ready to even listen and forget about the dialogue. In democracy, if you don't dialogue with the people who are either from the civil society or from various, organizations, even I'm talking about the political groups, unless you talk to them, how can you resolve the problem? And if you don't resolve the problem, definitely there will be more problems. So that's the question. Sonam Wangchuk was already, protesting for long. He had been protesting for long and demanding, as Mr. Azad has already told you, that these are the various demands. And why the government, doesn't want to discuss all the issues with the people who are demanding this. So what's wrong in demanding the statehood? You all know that JNK, Jammu and Kashmir, was already deprived of the statehood in 2019. I have not, heard any example in Indian politics since independence that statehood has already been converted into union territory. This is the only example if you look into the, issue. So therefore, what's wrong in it? Secondly, if you look at the various demand for public service commission for recruitment of the, officers, what's wrong in it? I mean, even various states have their public service commission. So if Ladakh is asking for the public service commission, there is nothing wrong about it, simply. Then again, the demand for, separation of, parliamentary constituency into two constituencies, either Leh and Kargil, what's wrong in it? So therefore, and sixth schedule, the demand for six schedules are made for the tribal areas. And the provision is already there under Article 244. So therefore, the question arises here is, there is no, demand which cannot be either accepted or firstly, at least, to be discussed. At least you must discuss it. Now, the second question arises is, why these agitators were stopped at the border? It is not new. The farmers who have been, agitating for long earlier, if you remember, and more than 700 farmers died. Even then, government never started, talking to them in a sense. They want some sort of resolution of the problems. Then again, Singhu border, another, group of farmers were still, they are staying over there. So the question is, government has no attitude to discuss in a democratic political system. They don't want to discuss. And that is why we have been facing on various occasions in Delhi that whenever we want some sort of protest or procession peaceful, remember, I'm always talking about the peaceful procession and protest. But what they are saying, no, police cannot grant you the permission. Why? There is some prohibitory order under article, under section 144. So in that sense, all the time you have prohibitory orders. So when people can raise their demand in a democratic manner, and if you don't allow them to raise their demands in a democratic manner, there is the possibility of, spreading of violence and many more ways, So that's the important point. And government is not taking these issues seriously. And therefore, they should not be prohibited to enter, Delhi. Delhi is the capital of India. And every Ladakh or, if you remember the Manipur episode for long, and the Prime Minister never visited Manipur. Why? There is already government of the BJP in Manipur. So double engine governments are there, but even then there is no solution of the issue. So the question is, allow all the people who are or who have been willing to demand something, let them express their demand. And second, they should be allowed to go anywhere. If you look at the constitution under Article 19, one of the Nagrik or citizen can move from one place to another place in India. So why are you not allowing people to? And now this is the serious issue. And all over India, people are supporting Sonam Wangchuk's cause, and this kind of detention is, I can say it is highly condemnable in a country like India, where definitely there is undeclared emergency. If you look at the kind of things are happening, so I think government must reconsider and allow. Even tomorrow is the Gandhi Jayanti, and they should be allowed to go to the Rajghat and pay their respect to Bapu and Mahatma Gandhi, and then definitely government.
Right, Professor
should allow to have some sort of discussion. Right. So this is not, yeah.
You've spelled out what should be done, but we do not know whether Sonam Wangchuk will be allowed to visit Rajghat tomorrow because he's still under detention. His associates are under detention. Zakir Zaidi now joins us from Ladakh. He's one of the renowned activists who joins us from there. Zakir, thank you so much for joining. And There were the shops were shut down today in protest to what happened with Sonam Wangchuk. Now, why do you think that the center has turned a deaf ear to all these voices? What is the center's problem? I really want to understand why Amit Shah doesn't want to hear the voices coming out from Leh. Why doesn't Prime Minister ensure that he meets Sonam Wangchuk so that he can really understand the problems? Why is there so much of resistance in meeting and in listening to the people?
See, even we are not even sure कि Prime Minister of India या होम मिनिस्ट्री इस इशू को क्यों सीरियस नहीं ले रहे हैं. It has been more than 4 years we are on the road, we are protesting for our demands, that is 4-point agenda, but we are really strange कि भाई हमारी जो genuine demands है, we are not demanding something मतलब जो कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया हमको गारंटी नहीं करते. सो इवन मतलब जब हमारी एपेक्स कमेटी या केडीए की जो हमारी मीटिंग्स हैं उनमें भी जब हम इन चीज़ों को डिस्कस करते हैं तो इवन वी आर नॉट मतलब हमारे पास भी उसका कोई आंसर नहीं है कि व्हाई दे आर नॉट लिसनिंग टू आवर ग्रीवेंसेस. सी आप लोगों को ये चीज़ पूरी हमारी कंट्री को ये बात पता है कि पूरी हमारी लद्दाख की कम्युनिटी ने बीइंग whom they मतलब जो कि लेह में रिजाइड करते हैं या करगिल में रिजाइड करते हैं, हमने हमेशा इस कंट्री के लिए कुर्बानियां दी है, बी इट 99 वॉर 62, क्योंकि जब भी आपको मतलब पोर्टर की जरूरत होते हैं हमारे लोगों ने 99 वॉर में खुसूसन बिकॉज आई बिलोंग टू करगिल, सो 99 वॉर में तो क्योंकि यहाँ पे पोर्टर्स की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत थी तो हर गांव ने जो है एक एक बंदे को नॉमिनेट करके मतलब यहाँ पे फौज के साथ कंधा से कंधा मिला के काम मतलब यहाँ पे फौज का लिए सपोर्ट का काम किया है. बट जब हमारी अपनी जो मतलब आइडेंटिटी को प्रोटेक्ट करने की, हमारी लैंग्वेज को प्रोटेक्ट करने की, हमारी कल्चर को, हमारी इन्वायरमेंट को जब प्रोटेक्ट करने की बात आती है तो इवन वी डोंट नो द एग्जैक्ट रीजन कि भाई हम कुछ ऐसा तो डिमांड नहीं कर रहे हैं कि जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में नहीं है. सो अभी जो है जिस तरीके से हमारी जो लोकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स, अभी हम सोनम वांगचुक जी की बात कर रहे हैं, इवन एमपी लद्दाख हैज बीन डिटेन्ड.
No, but Akil, now there have been reports that the land of the farmers over there in Ladakh has been handed over to the big corporates, and which is why there is so much of resistance. People don't have jobs. People don't have the right to raise their voices. Now, is this the major reason of resentment? Why people are so unhappy, and government just doesn't want to listen to these voices?
सी जैसे कि मैं आपको पहले ही बता दूं जो कि हमारे लैंड एक्ट जो है दैट इज बीन गवर्न थ्रू LHDC एक्ट 1997. There it has been written you need LHDC's अप्रूवल. मतलब आपको अगर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को भी चाहिए या डिफेंस को भी चाहिए तो आपको LHDC से अप्रूवल लेना पड़ता है. लेकिन अभी जो है क्योंकि लेह में आपको पता है बीजेपी की काउंसिल है तो उन लोगों ने लगभग मोर देन जो है आपका 2000 कनाल्स की जो अभी मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स में जो कोट हो रही है 2000 कनाल्स जो है जो मोरे प्लेन्स दैट इज वेरी मतलब नियर टू द मतलब जो कि चाइना बॉर्डर है चांगथांग रीजन में, वहां पे 2000 कनाल्स ऑफ लैंड्स दे रहे हैं टू मेक मतलब एक बहुत बड़े तकरीबन इट हैज बीन सेट कि शायद 200 गीगा हर्ट जो है पावर उसके लिए. तो आर मेन कंसर्न इज अगर आप उन प्लेन्स में जो कि हमारे नोमैड्स के लिए रिजर्व्ड है मतलब जो कि सालों से वहां पे पश्मीना गोट्स को रेयर कर रहे हैं वो कहाँ जाएंगे, क्योंकि वो हमारा जो लद्दाख का जो एरिया है आपको पता है पास्चर लैंड की हम लोगों को पहले से किल्लत है. एंड जो हमारे चांगथांग रीजन में बहुत सारी जगहों पे आर्मी ने भी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस दिया लगाया है क्योंकि वहां पे जो अभी जो डिसएंगेजमेंट का इशू चल रहा है चाइना के साथ उस वजह से भी हमारे बॉर्डर्स पे प्रॉब्लम चल रहे हैं. तो हम कह रहे हैं कि आप अगर कॉर्पोरेट्स को इतने बड़े मतलब लैंड चंक्स अगर आप उनको दे देंगे तो हमारे नोमैड्स कहाँ चले जाएंगे, जो कि रिसेंटली आपके सीसी ले ताशी गैल्सन साहब ने जो है वहां पे वो कर दिया. इसके बाद आपने कहा मतलब जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट की बात है, आज तक 2019 से टिल डेट नॉट ए सिंगल आपका जो है गैजेटेड पोस्ट जो है नोटिफाई हुआ, बिकॉज वी डोंट हैव आवर ओन पीएससी। हमने बार बार जो है अभी लास्ट जो हमारी एपेक्स और केडीए की मीटिंग हुई थी अमित शाह साहब के साथ, जिसमें इन प्रिंसिपल उन्होंने एग्री किया हम इसको जो है नोटिफाई करेंगे, बट इट हैज बीन मोर देन ए ईयर नाउ, क्योंकि टॉक्स ही रिज्यूम नहीं कर रहे हैं। हम जो है सेंटर की इस एटीट्यूड से बहुत ज्यादा मतलब परेशान है कि दे डोंट वांट टू सिट ऑन अ टेबल एंड टॉक कि भाई हमारे इश्यूज क्या है, आप बैठिए। मतलब उस चीज के लिए भी जब आप रेडी नहीं हो, हम जो है आपको पता है लद्दाख इज ए लैंडलॉक स्टेट, 6 मंथ्स हमारा जो है पूरा कट ऑफ रहता है। अब हम दिल्ली नहीं आए तो क्या आए, हम कैपिटल में हम कोई मतलब उपद्रव फैलाने के लिए या कुछ न्यूसेंस फैलाने के लिए नहीं गए थे। हम अपनी मांगों को 4 साल से हम रोड पे हैं। -30 डिग्री सेल्सियस में सोनम वांगचुक जी ने प्रोटेस्ट किया, सेंटर ने तब भी उनकी बातों को नहीं माना। जब हमारे पास कोई चारा नहीं बचे तो हमको नेशनल कैपिटल मार्च करने के अलावा जो है हमारे पास कुछ बचता है नहीं। सो मतलब हमारी जो पूरी टीम है केडीए और एपेक्स की, नॉट जस्ट सोनम वांगचुक, अभी आप देख लीजिए उसमें आर्मी वेटरन्स है, उसमें 80 इयर्स के जो बुजुर्ग लोग हैं वो है, स्टूडेंट्स हैं, और उनको जो है डिटेन करके अभी मैंने कुछ अपने सोर्सेज जो हमारे दिल्ली में उनसे पता किया, मतलब वो मतलब कुछ लोगों को आश्रम में इन लोगों ने जेल कन्वर्ट करके वहां पे ठहराया है। इवन दे हैव नॉट गिवन मतलब प्रॉपर ट्रीटमेंट कि भाई उनको एक अच्छी सी मतलब एक वो दे दे, जगह दे दे जहां पे उनको रखा जाए। एंड जो आज जो है मैं आपको कहूं, लद्दाख में जो पूरा डेमोक्रेटिक वे में जो गवर्न होते, जो इलेक्ट होते, वी हैव 2 काउंसिल्स, वन इन लेह एंड वन इन कारगिल। आपकी पूरी करगिल की काउंसिल अलोंग विद सीईसी वहां पे है। सीईसी हैज आपका कैबिनेट रैंक, उनको एमपी को इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स को आप जेल में डाल रहे हो। जब आप उनको भी जेल में डालोगे तो आपको हमको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट करना क्या चाह रही है। एंड आपको मैं बता दूं, पूरे 30 दिन में वी हैड क्रॉस चंडीगढ़, जो कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के अंदर रह रही थी, उनको को परमिशन का कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं था। जस्ट इन द इवनिंग बीजेपी हैड ऑर्गेनाइज्ड अ प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस इन ले, एंड मतलब वो लोग इतने बेशर्मी के साथ ये बात बोल रहे हैं कि एमपी साहब ने परमिशन नहीं लिया। भाई तीसरे 4-5 स्टेट को हमने क्रॉस किया, उस
Oh,
वक्त
I
भी
saw
परमिशन।
those letters. I saw those letters because I was in touch with Sonam Wangchuk, and he had WhatsApped me the copies of those letters where the permissions were sought. And I was in touch with him when he clearly told us that all the permissions were taken, and they were very, very cautious. They took a bus while they were in Jammu and Kashmir. They thought that elections are
Yes,
there. Travel by bus. They will not conduct the Padyatra. Similarly, when they were in Haryana, they took a bus ride because they thought that it would disrupt the election process. But I want to come to you, Mr. Azad, now. I really want to understand the level of insensitivity by the police. Now, like what Zakir was saying, that there are elderlies, there are senior citizens, the women detainees have been bandied together along with the male detainees. Now, these are some fundamental issues on detention. Why is the police unable to follow these basic rules? And how can they be so callous with peace-loving citizens?
First, Neelu, let us put the blame where it should be. Police has no confrontation with these people. Police is acting under the authority of the Home Minister. Now, Hanifa Jan, the Member of Parliament, is a good friend of mine, and we've had a discussion just 5 days before when he was here, when he said he's going back to Ladakh for a meeting and then joining the Padayatra and coming with that. And what Zakir has said just now, he told me the entire thing. Now, as Professor Singh said earlier, these demands are not inflammatory demands. These are demands you should be happy if somebody is talking about conservation, environment, PSC, about about the people in Ladakh who have fought very bravely behind the soldiers against any attack. Now, the second point is, what are the facilities being offered? Well, the police may be having its own limitations, where they are staying and things like that. But let me assure you, as long as you have the same system, sorry for digressing a little, if Ram Rahim can be released on parole, and if Sonam Wangchuk can be arrested, then what else can I say about this? And will you believe it? that the case for parole or furlough of this murderer and rapist went to who? Went to the election commission chief of Haryana, who said yes, it's okay. Now, if this is the kind of decision, in fact, Hanifa Jan also told me another thing. And he was so, I mean, the way he discussed it, it was quite apparent and proving what Professor Singh said, those demands he said was with a lot of passion, with a lot of request. And he said that he wanted to meet Mr. Amit Shah, Zakir must be knowing, but he did not get an appointment because of whatever reasons, elections and all that. So when these things can be discussed, there is no need for this prohibitory order, and they should have been allowed to go to Rajghat and have a discussion. There is no problem. And I already told you that in this group, you have some of the best people, which also Zakir said. There are army veterans, there are intellectuals, there are environmentalists, there are students, and there are people like Hanifa Jan. So what else can I say more about this? I think I have a feeling that before the elections and the results, the center does not want to get into it. I think there'll be elections very soon. Statehood will be given. Well, I don't know whether a statehood will include this again or Ladakh will remain a UT. But these things can always be negotiated. I think it is hesitating to talk or say anything before the elections. That would be the political issue behind
But
it.
Mr. Azad, what is your feeling? Sonam is going to be released out of detention when? Only when the Delhi High Court gives the order, because the case, there's a plea which has been filed today in the Delhi High Court, and that plea is coming up for hearing on 3rd of October, not tomorrow being a holiday. So what are we going to expect? Sonam Wangchuk, I'm sure, is not going to be released tomorrow. So is he going to be released post whatever the High Court says?
Well, I have a feeling that the High Court will certainly release him because there's no reason to detain him. On what ground? There is no law and order. There is what is prohibitory? Prohibitory is to somebody who's creating a problem more than the law and order. Even if these 150 come right till the Parliament House, or they should be waited at that Parliament police station where the authoritative place for demonstration is. Let them be there and let a minister go there with dignity and talk to these gentlemen. They'll be extremely happy, and then the talks can continue after the elections. I think this would be the best way to deal because there you have a public representative. He's an independent man who has won from Ladakh, and he has the support of everyone. So,
Right.
and have the best man from Ladakh who's talking about conservation. He's a mechanical engineer, damn it. He's a conservationist. He's one of the best men we have from India.
I'm presuming that all four of us are sane. We have a logical mind. We can reason well. We can discuss well, as what we are doing for the last 29 minutes. My last question to you, Professor Shashi Shekhar Singh, is that if we four of us can discuss, we can reason out as to what should be done, and how beautifully Mr. Azad has explained everything, that it's so simple. Just talk it out through a dialogue. It's not very difficult. Why is Modi government finding this particular issue so difficult? Or they just don't want to have this issue on their priority plate? As what Mr. Azad said, that maybe they will do it later, but they just it's not on their priority at all. So what is your feeling? That they don't want to resolve this issue at all, or they put it on the back burner and they think that, it's better to deal with these things with an iron hand because you have elections in Haryana and Jammu Kashmir?
No, the point is, unless you think that this is very urgent, if the people are demanding something, and if this is under the constitution, ambit of the constitution, why you are not listening to them? That's a big question in democracy. Because democracy is what about? Democracy is to discuss.
And Mr. Modi says that we are a mother of democracy.
Or forget about the mother of democracy. I do not consider this as the mother of democracy, because I have already said that the undeclared emergency is still there for last 10 years. If you look at the kind of way, even we are sometimes facing so many problems in Delhi, even Delhi University. So don't talk about mother of democracy. These are jumlas, mother of democracy and Biswaguru. So there, I don't consider anything as a student of political science. But the point I'm making here is, suppose one, you are talking about, there are, intellectuals, veterans, and so many, concerning citizens of the country in the, Padyatra. I am simply raising one question: are they citizens of this country or not? And all these citizens are equal as per the constitutional provision is there. If any citizen is, saying something peacefully, remember, and they should be listened. They should be listened. So therefore, whatever the people they are joining the Padyatra, my simple question is, please talk to them. Please listen to them. And then, of course, whatever demand is genuine, I think all the demands are genuine demands under the provisions of the constitution. So demanding for, status of Ladakh in 6th schedule is nothing wrong.
Undoubtedly these demands are genuine. But my last question to you, and I'm going to wind up the show after this, that do you think that Modi government or Mr. Amit Shah, they are scared of facing people like Sonam Wangchuk and the 120 associates who are accompanying him?
There is no doubt about it. What you are saying, there is no doubt about. They are scared of facing people, the citizens. They did not face, if you look at, Prime Minister never faced, a single press conference in India. So they are scared of facing people in India, those who are raising questions. And definitely Sonam Wangchuk is one of the most influential citizens of this country. And therefore, they are scared of, there is no doubt about it. But the point is, how long you will be scared of? You have to face the people, because you are elected by the people of this country. And therefore, how long you will say that, no, not today, then tomorrow? Election is not everything in democracy. It is the essential component, but at the same time, only election, and our Prime Minister is all the time talking about elections and giving election speech. So the point is whether election in Haryana or J&K or wherever, but the people must be heard of, must be listened. This is the demand, so that it should not be flared up in a, you can just imagine and talk about any sort of a violent kind of, because unless you listen to us, there is the possibility. And as I said, Ladakh and any, Indian territories which is, close to the international border is a very sensitive area. And if you don't listen to them peacefully, definitely there should be the sense of alienation among them. And it is not good for democracy. It is not good for country.
A very important point on which I want to come to Mr. Azad. I thought of winding up the show, but you picked up this point of how these border areas are sensitive. They can become, pawns in the hands of extraneous forces. Do you see this, Mr. Azad, as a big security threat as well? Manipur, we have lost the story. Manipur, nobody wants to go. Nobody wants to talk about Manipur. Now here again, you have a territory like Ladakh, which is almost on the fire. Government has totally ignored. Government has neglected it. It doesn't want to listen to the people. So what is ultimately going to happen? It's a border area again.
Yes, I fully agree with that. Ladakh is a very sensitive area. It's right on the border. And we have seen the Ladakhis, how strongly they have stood behind the army and behind the country during our skirmishes with China. So I think from all these sensitive points of view, I already maintain that it should be looked into, because these demands are very reasonable. And as Dr. Singh said, that, they are under the Constitution. So, it's not that you're doing something as a favor. It's your duty to talk to the people who are raising the right demands, and that is how it should be looked into. But I have a feeling that the new government which will come in the state will be much more attentive to the demands of the Ladakhis. And Center perhaps is waiting as a political year to see what would be the attitude of the government. That's the political part. But as for the police part, the prohibitory order should not be there. Unfortunately, it is the High Court again which has to intervene. And number three, I hope in this period, they send a good representative, somebody like Gadkari, a man who's amenable, who's acceptable, to talk to them. And later on, say that after the elections, we'll continue the talks.
I'm sure if Mr. Gadkari is being sent by the center, I wouldn't be surprised if BJP's troll army will start calling Gadkari also anti-national. But as of now, what things look like are in a very, very terrible and a sad state. It just seems that the people who are raising their voices, people who are asking for their rights, and people who are raising questions, which involves platforms like us, which involves people like me, they would always be labeled as people who are anti-government. But we, as a duty, need to continue to raise our voices, need to continue to raise the citizens' voices, which are being muzzled. And the living example today is Sonam Wangchuk. He's an epitome of dignity. He's raising the voices of the people of Ladakh. And why is he not being heard? If media channels and if media platforms cannot ask this question, they better shut down their shops. That's what I feel. I'll have to end the program here. Thank you so much, Mr. Azad, Professor Shashi Shekhar Singh, Zakir. It was wonderful to have all of you on the program. Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
2019, the year that changed Maharashtra politics forever.
आणि मला खरंच आज वाईट वाटतंय की चुकीच्या माणसांसोबत आपण कारण नसताना गेलो होतो.
मी देवेंद्र गंगाधरराव फडणवीस ईश्वर साक्ष शपथ घेतो की
मी अजित अनंतराव पवार गांभीर्यपूर्वक दृढकथन करतो की
मी उद्धव बाळासाहेब ठाकरे ईश्वर साक्ष शपथ घेतो की
श्री एकनाथ शिंदे साहेब यांना भारतीय जनता पार्टी समर्थन देईल आणि श्री एकनाथ शिंदे हे मुख्यमंत्री होतील.
मी एकनाथ संभाजी शिंदे ईश्वर साक्ष शपथ घेतो की
मी अजित अनंतराव पवार गांभीर्यपूर्वक दृढकथन करतो की.
Now, as Maharashtra gets set for the 2024 assembly elections,
we believe that we have the infrastructure, we have the know-how, we have the experience of covering Maharashtra. We want to cover the Maharashtra elections. Now, for us to cover the Maharashtra elections, we need some funds, we need some money. We need around 5 to 6 lakh of rupees. I would urge you to contribute to this venture. Give us that 6 lakhs so that our journalists can go to nook and corner of Maharashtra, find out exactly what the problem of Maharashtra is.
log on to our website hwnews.in, click on the subscribe us button, select an amount you wish to contribute and support independent journalism.